Article 2. And Article 2 is, in essence, to see if the town will vote to authorize the Board of Selectmen to negotiate a tax payment agreement pursuant to general laws and approve a tax payment agreement to be entered between the town and Kenyon Mass Solar 1 LLC. And along with Mr. Mizikar, I believe we have Michael Hale, Commissioner of Selco, to join us at the table. Welcome, Mr. Hale.
Thank you. Also here this evening with Selco is Ralph Icarino, who's our electric systems manager, and just in from Tampa, Florida, is Mike Dykstra, who's the principal with Kenyon Energy, who is the proposed developer of record for the project. And he's here to answer any questions if you have them.
Very good. Would you like to join us at the table? Would you like to have them join us? Join? Good evening, sir.
Hi, Ralph Icarino, Electric System Manager for Selco.
I think, unless, you want me to start? Sure. Okay, so I'd give you a quick overview of how this came about. Selco and the town had been, as town meeting members and finance committee members who were here 2 years ago, know we had a solar proposal in 2014, 2015 to build a slightly larger array, not larger in size, but larger in output because the panels were different on the landfill. 2 years of negotiation, tens of thousands of dollars in legal fee and staff fee. At the 11th hour, the developer couldn't get financing. So the project died, and much to our chagrin, everybody wanted that project to be built. It looked like there wasn't going to be another opportunity because the program that provides subsidies to solar developers was expiring. In the spring of 2017, this year, the state announced that they were extending that program through March of 2018. So as long as the development of the proposed solar array was up and running by March of 2018. There was one significant change. The amount of the subsidy that the developer got was reduced from 0.8 to 0.55 per megawatt or per solar renewable energy credit. So the amount of subsidy available to the developer was reduced. That said, this change came at a time when, if you're lucky to get in to see the town manager in March and April for 5 minutes of his time, as the budget is being formalized, not only that, with a town manager who's retiring, with a secretary in the town manager's office who's retired, so they're short-staffed. I told the town manager that I'd like to give this one more try. And he said, well, we really don't have the resources to help. So I said, I'll take the lead. We'll give it our best shot. I'll try not to use Kristen's time and Jeff's time, but that kind of didn't work out because they've spent a lot of time working on this project as well. But we were able to put together a bid. This is a very time-sensitive project. Things need to happen. And the whole purpose for this town meeting is really driven by this, asking the town meeting members and the finance committee to approve this tax plan so that we can get the thing. It's all predicated on them knowing, Kenyon knowing that they have the available resources to get this done. So we put it out to bid. We opened bids. We selected the high bidder. We went into high gear. And here we are. The thing has to really start construction by October or November in order to be completed for the spring timeline. So that hence the need for a September town meeting. It does provide some revenue to the town. And it provides energy, Selco to buy the energy at a favorable price. So from that perspective, it's a win-win situation where we're buying renewable energy at a decent price, and the town is gaining some revenue from a parcel of land that would otherwise sit there vacant and not collect any types of revenue. That said, I think I'd turn it over to Kevin if he wants to spend time on explaining the tax agreement.
So the tax agreement is set up with a rate that was defined in the RFP process of $12,500 per megawatt hour DC when the facility is constructed. This is a 25-year tax agreement. So that $12,500 per megawatt hour is a personal property tax that's levied on the development. In addition to that, and that's held flat over the 25-year period. In addition to that, we are taxing the land upon which this development will occur at a rate that increases by 2.5%, with the base year being $2,500. The payment of the personal property is further modified to require that the developer pays 55% of that personal property tax within the first 10 years of the 25-year agreement, with the balance 45% paid in the years 11 through 25. Having this structure mitigates a little risk on behalf of the town and also provides an appropriate cash flow that won't have a significant detrimental impact on the tax rate should a agreement not be entered into. So in total, from the tax payment standpoint, it's almost $1.7 million in taxes. And then in addition to that is the lease of the land. Will also be part of the revenue stream for this project, but that's not a part of the pilot agreement that's being approved by town meeting. That land lease was approved, that was authorized by town meeting to be entered into at the previous instance of this initiative, and would be signed off on upon conformance of legal requirements and the green light for the project.
Questions from the committee? Mr.
Ask
Burley
one.
again.
On the total taxes, I'm a little confused here. We got a revision, and the total income was gonna be 2 million, not 1.7.
Yes, so that, if I could, so on the brown sheet that, under Mr. Hale's signature, is the total revenue that includes the land lease. But what was included within the town manager's section in an original, within the pilot agreement, which is a supplemental document that was sent out to all town meeting members, only includes the taxation part of this agreement. So it's the roughly $1.7 million.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Could I ask one follow-up question on the construction? The last time around, when we were talking about a solar on that facility, they were going to be mounted on what they called sleds, where they were going to actually turn the panels in relation to where the sun is. Is this one going permanent?
No. The panels, you cannot penetrate the ground cover over a covered landfill, even though in some cases the ground cover is 70 feet higher than the liner of the landfill. DEP doesn't want to see that happen. So if you're sticking a stake in the ground, it's not going to go 70 feet. But regardless, what they'll do, Gene, is they'll come in place and they'll have forms like a foundation form, and they'll pour a concrete form and then put each panel in a separate form.
So it's similar to the one in West Boylston?
Most likely.
Yeah, most likely.
And the one that's on the Cherry Street facility.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Adler?
Presuming we go through with this, what's going to happen in 25 years? Will it be removed?
The planning board process requires a decommissioning bond.
So yes.
Yes, or, Selco has the opportunity in the power purchase agreement to buy the project out at certain intervals.
Okay, I'm not saying it's required, but there is a plan for what happens in 25 years. We're not just getting into this and, all right.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mrs. O'Connor?
If we do all of this that's here and technology changes and they really don't need us for 25 years, what happens?
I don't know, we're tied into the agreement.
So they're tied into?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, you know, the way technology changes, you
no, I
blink and
understand.
your phone's outdated as soon as you buy it.
Any other questions? Anything from the public? Mr. Moss, please introduce yourself, sir.
Sure. Brian Moss, 16 Ruthven Circle, Town Meeting Member, Precinct 8. So first, I just wanted to extend a thank you to Mr. Hale and Mr. Iacarino on helping to lead this project, because this is something that we really need to have in this town. The more solar, the better. Some of the reasons we can look at why we need to do this is because there are a lot of cities now that are looking to go 100% renewable. So this is happening out there, whether we know it, whether we're following it, whether we're planning to do it or not. So if you look out there, there's I think 35, 40 cities already either committing or in the process of committing to 100% renewable energy. For example, Atlanta is going to be 100% by 2035 for their electricity power. And that's interesting to note, because there's two delineations: 100% renewable energy for electricity power and 100% renewable energy economy-wide, including transportation and other things, buildings. So that's important to note, because as Selco is here providing the electricity for the town, and if we're looking at what other towns and cities are doing and may in the future take on one of these, whatever it may be, targets, it's good to see what others are doing. So Atlanta's by 2035, Boulder, Colorado is 100% electricity by 2030, Cambridge 100% by 2035, Orlando 100% by 2030, and community-wide by 2050, San Diego 100% by 2035. So when you have that and you look at what we have now, and one interesting thing to note is when we talk about renewable energy, what's the definition of that, right? So the definition is that coal is not renewable, oil is not renewable, natural gas is not renewable, nuclear is not renewable, and large hydro is not renewable. So that's going to leave us with solar, wind, and then storage to store that and to have a reliable grid. So I just wanted to commend the Selco for helping to take that leadership and to add to our portfolio of solar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Moss. Anything else on Article 2? No? Thank you, Mr. Hale. Mr. Iacarino?
Patrick?
Yes.
I know we typically